council regular meeting for September 12th, 2023. I'll let the record show that all council members are present, as well as others in the audience. If you don't join me in a moment of silence, please. Please rise. I'll pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are we on? Are we recording?
Yeah, it's on.
Do we have any changes to the agenda? Okay, I'm going to add a couple of things under my mayor's report. Recombination effort on Wedgewood. The SPMO funding formula. And question on whether we want to do a candidate forum. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Get a motion to accept the consent agenda, which is the minutes from the 8th August meeting.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is passed. Okay, have now open for the public comment period for comments not listed on the agenda. Is anybody that wants to talk about anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, this is good. Okay. Got the zoning administrator's report, and I'll read that. There are 56 homes under construction in the beginning stages of lot clearing, and one of those is located in the ETJ. 5 single-family residence applications, one on Woodland Circle, one on Doherty Court, one on Brassy Lane, Vista Ridge East, and Porterfield Lane, both in Grand Ponds. 6 certificates of occupancy were issued, one on Cardinal, one on Forest Ridge, one on Vista Ridge, one on Rainbow Court, one on Richmond Road, and one in Tusk Vista in the ETJ. Other permits issued were 4 fences, 2 pools, and 1 propane tank. And permits denied was 1 accessory building. And they received a request for variance to ordinance Article 8, Section 21-8-1, accessory buildings, and a Board of Adjustment hearing is scheduled for October 2nd. Anybody have any questions from the zoning administrative report?
I do have one question,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's appropriate to ask it now or later, but what's going on with the utility building as far as zoning and their
You're talking about the-
landscaping?
And then it's still 6 weeks out from completion before they apply for an occupancy permit.
Okay, because I believe they are using that
Well,
building.
they put it out of the rain, they put stuff out of the rain, I think is what they did, from what I understand.
That's not true.
That, it's got equipment in it all the time,
Yes.
because I drive by it all the time.
Okay. Well, we can resurface that with Brad.
Yeah. I'll follow up on that, Janice. I did talk with Brad today, just because I knew that it might come up in terms of, I was really looking for completion. And like everybody else, they're well behind subcontractors, and now they're saying mid-October is what they're hoping for. It was supposed to be, I think, June, actually, is when they first started. But I didn't know anything about equipment inside the building. I'll follow up on that.
I know they put some in under the rain, from the rain here a week or so ago. Okay. Okay, what we'll do now is we're going to move this a little bit. And we're going to have public safety go next.
Okay, well, as long as the fire chief's here, I'll call on the fire chief.
Fire chief first.
My apologies.
He's got to run, so.
I apologize for not being well dressed.
Yeah. it's not
I I was actually working, if those that showed up, we did receive the new pumper tanker. So we were actually mounting equipment in it when Councilman Nelson said, hey, you know, do you have anything for tonight? And then I mentioned, do you want me to bring the truck down? So I'm not normally underdressed, but thank you for allowing me to come down. You know, I think the biggest thing is the delivery of the new tanker, but it's going to be called an engine for ISO purposes. For those that were coming in, you can see it out in the parking lot. It is a Midwest, came out of Laverne, Minnesota. It's a 2,000 gallon tank, 1,250 gallon pump. For ISO purposes, West End Fire Department is required to respond to all structure fires in our district with 2 engines. So the reason why it is named as an engine is to make sure that we can always meet the 2 engine response. But the additional 1,000 gallons of water allows us to basically utilize it as a tanker as well, so that when we're responding either in our area, in the rural area of our district, or automatic aid to other departments, we're bringing them 2,000 gallons of water versus just the 1,000 that we would traditionally. So there's a little bit of extra equipment on it to make it an engine, ladders and things of that nature, but not too insignificant. A little bit of history on the truck. We actually ordered the truck almost 2.5 years ago with a vendor. The vendor, 6 months into the contract, contacted us and said, hey, if you want that truck, it's going to cost you $50,000 more. So we kind of said, wait a sec. We have a contract. We took them up with legal, and it was in somewhat the height of COVID. And so when it went through our attorney and talking to their attorney and actually talking to a mediator, they basically said, while the contract doesn't say anything about a pandemic, it does say natural disaster, and some courts are leaning towards COVID being more like a natural disaster. So we ended up terminating the contract with that vendor and choosing another vendor that was the second choice, but actually they delivered a much better product in our opinion. It was just a little higher cost. So it was about $65,000 more expensive than what we had originally budgeted. But it is the state of where we are right now in terms of the economy. Our other engines we would have purchased for about $465,000. We've gotten a quote to replace them. Just to get a ballpark idea, it would be $800,000 today. So prices have gone crazy. There's not much we can do about it. Basically, it's about a $340,000 truck with about $100,000 worth of equipment on it. It will be housed down here in Foxfire. So it will be out of Station 65 here. It'll be called Engine 654, and our plan is to have it in service hopefully by the end of the month. So we're working on getting the equipment mounted, and then our personnel trained in utilizing pumping and stuff like that. In terms of just overall where we're at as a department, many of you know that we did get a Class 3 ISO rating. That went into effect back in July. I would strongly urge every person, every citizen to contact their insurance company and confirm that they have you as a Class 3. We've had several incidents where citizens within our district have called and they still had them 2 ISOs ago at a Class 6. It ended up saving that homeowner about $170 a year. From the old ISO Class 5 to 3, it can be anything from $30 to $60, $70 saving, and that's on your homeowner's insurance. And when we do our mailing this year, we're going to put a reminder in there to suggest that. But if you talk to people, strongly urge you, because it is a savings, it's a benefit of us lowering the ISO.
Chief, what does the acronym ISO mean?
Insurance Service Organization is the name of the organization. And basically what it is it's they come in and do an evaluation of the department on a lot of different things. Some of it we control, some of it we don't. Your water system is one of the things. 911 telecommunications, the operator, how quick they actually can handle a call and get the units dispatched. The things that we can control is apparatus, personnel, training, things of that nature. So we do things in equipment that we have to make sure we maximize in all the different categories. I'd be happy if you want to set up beside me, and I'll be happy to go through the report and kind of show you. A lot of it we don't control, but there is some of it that we do control. But it's basically, effectively, it is the readiness of the fire department to respond to fires. Unfortunately, it doesn't have anything to do with car accidents, doesn't have anything to do with medical. It is 100% your insurance rating for your property insurance.
Thank you.
And basically, real quick, 10 is the worst, it's non-rated. 9 is kind of where most departments in North Carolina are. We are a Class 3. Pinehurst is a Class 2, Aberdeen's a Class 3, Southern Pines I think just got a Class 2. So we are, if you look at the ISO map or the ratings map on GIS, you can kind of see the lower end of the county tends to have the lower ratings, and it's just they're a little bit more populous in the budgets. So, in terms of call volume, we're still keeping fairly busy. We're on pace right now to run about 1,030, 1,050 calls, up from about 950 last year. And that is a combination of fire, rescue, and EMS. We do run all calls within our service district, so that's not just here in Foxfire. I know there's been questions in the past. We do run as first responders on all medical calls, and in many times a lot of times we have people that call just for a lift assist, to assist somebody getting up. We get there a lot of times before EMS. We should get there before EMS, 99% of the time. And we assist the patient. We can put EMS in service so that they don't have to come. And you got to remember, when you're in Foxfire, your EMS units are coming either from Seven Lakes Drive, from Pinehurst near the hospital, or Aberdeen out of Aberdeen Fire Department. So you're about a 10 to 12 minute response time from EMS, and that's why we've chosen to run all calls. We're typically there from dispatch to on scene within about 7.5 minutes. And so that's pretty quick. And that's throughout our entire district. So, anything else, Don, anything else that you wanted me to cover?
No, that's it. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from council on anything else? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, I have a question. Can I ask a question? to him?
Wait till the end, when we have the,
He won't be here.
are you leaving?
I was.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. We make you stay,
I did ask at the last meeting, if there's a fire, we don't have any kind of siren or anything? Like, if there's a forest fire, how do you let everybody know if there's?
So if there was a
evacuate?
major forest fire or incident that we needed to evacuate people, the 911 center has what they call reverse 911. They can actually, on a map, highlight everybody's addresses, and it can send a message or call each of those homeowners to let them know. And then in terms of if we had to do like evacuations, we would basically reach out to the police department, the sheriff's department, and have them drive up and down streets and with PAs, and if we need to knock on doors. But they don't use the older air raid type sirens. We have an old one at the station that we use more for nostalgia. We do set it off, on 9/11 we ring it, but it's not utilized for notifications. They kind of have stopped across the country, and most places have stopped utilizing that. Now along the coast, I think they may have tsunami ones, but not locally.
Okay.
I have a quick question now.
Okay.
So you just mentioned that they would call. How do they get the phone numbers?
So they have, based off of your billing addresses, they have on the back end, they have connections with CenturyLink, Verizon, all the main carriers. So-
AT&T?
AT&T.
So that includes your cell phone?
Correct.
Okay.
It's like an Amber Alert, as I understand it.
Exactly.
Okay, so I do get, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I.
But, so there's a couple, the Amber Alert would be another way, but they also, on the back end, every property is connected to a phone number, whether you have a landline or whether you have a cell phone.
Okay.
So it's
okay.
not as easy as this, here's a call list and start making calls.
Right, well, I do
But-
get, then there's a section on your phone under settings that you can ask for certain alerts.
And there is a section on the county website, I think Foxfire has a
Our code red.
Yeah, so there is a section on the county website if you want to be notified of county-related stuff as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Is that also, for like boiling order and things? Is that same?
I don't think,
thing apply?
that's typically websites, so when they do a boil emergency, stuff like that, that's not, I don't think they want to do it like all the time. They want those to be more, if it's a major, we need something. Now, if it's, hey, it's really bad, don't drink the water,
Yeah,
then they might, but that's up to the emergency management department to determine whether they would want that type of notification.
For Foxfire, we have our own water system,
We have our
so
own
a message
water.
will be sent out from town hall to the residents here to let you know if you have a water issue.
okay. And that's just via email, I'm assuming?
I'm sure there'll be something on the website,
Okay.
Code Red.
Code Red.
Code Red.
There's gonna be as many access points we have on the book.
Okay.
We try to put it on our Facebook page if we.
Which reminds me, I hope everybody has signed up for Code Red.
Yes. If you haven't, we can show you how to do
We
it.
can do, we can.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Hey,
Okay,
Chief, the
fire.
siren work, does the siren work on
It
that?
does.
Give us a hoot on the way out, will you? Sorry. Just kidding.
He didn't do it on the
Police
way
Chief
in.
Shu is on deck. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Sure.
It is good, no, trust me, it is good to be back. Just a couple of updates from the month of August for the police department. I typically provide everybody with a call sheet for the month prior. Unfortunately, you all know our internet's down. I have no way to send it to my printer to print it off. So I emailed everybody, I took a picture with my phone. Computer screens are kind of funky whenever you take a picture with your phone, so if you can't make it out, let me know. I'll email you a copy. Otherwise, next month at the meeting, I'll have August and September's where I
that's
can
fine.
give them to you. Pretty busy month. As most everyone knows, the Alicia Watts case of the Foxfire resident that was murdered. Well, it took up most of our time. That was a very complex case. It involved multiple agencies. Not the outcome we wanted, but at least we have closure, and there was an arrest made on the case, which was her boyfriend at the time. So that's kind of behind us now. And a couple of things within the PD, our grant, as Janice is well aware of, I'm not sure what's going on at the state level, but they have decided they're going to switch platforms. This grant is no longer going to be available. So we were really cut short from what we originally were contracted to have as far as time goes for purchases. But just as the fire chief was saying, trying to get equipment now is like pulling teeth. I ordered some helmets 6 months ago that totaled about $6,000, and we still haven't had word that they were even shipped from the manufacturer. So canceled that. We're going to be about $6,000 short on the grant this year. It's not going to cost anything extra, but because we couldn't get the equipment before they decided they wanted to shut the grant down, we're going to be shorted on a little bit of equipment. With that being said, we did pretty good. It was a grant that we just kind of shot in the dark at, several years back. And we've been very blessed. We've gotten about $125,000 worth of equipment over the past 5 years riding on that grant. So 5 years is better than no years. And $125,000 worth of equipment that we could save for the town definitely beats nothing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm going to try to reach out to my grant writer and see if there's anything else out there in the works on the federal side, state side that we can apply for. To me, if it's $100, it's worth it. So I'm gonna continue to kind of dig and work with Janice on that, and we'll see what happens.
Just one note there for federal grants, and just be very, very cautious of the administration on our end for those grants, because sometimes it can require onerous steps you have to take to comply with the grant, or as you're spending grant money, and it's almost not worth it. So I
We'll
would
definitely
stick with
discuss.
this. I would stick with the state grants. They're a lot less cumbersome.
And I'll definitely bring anything I find to the council first to make sure it's something we all agree on that we want to pursue. Again, whenever the numbers, I don't have a way to give you those, I apologize. We are ramping up our Governor's Highway Safety Program initiative with checkpoints in the area, which have netted a lot of arrests and citations the past 30 days. Also with those checkpoints, arrests and citations, as you know, we earn points which translate into dollars at the end of the year on the state side of the Governor's Highway Safety Initiative. We're on track to get about $10,000 worth of equipment in October. So it'll take a while for us to get it, but that'll be another 10 grand worth of equipment we can save the town getting it through going out and doing these checkpoints.
Now, do you do X amount of checkpoints per year, or doesn't it?
It's basically whenever. If you
Okay.
can go out there and pop one up, there's obviously parameters. Has to be so long with so many people with at least XYZ citations. You get more points if they're night versus day. There's a lot of different stipulations, but they give us some parameters, and they tell you, okay, if you do this, it's worth X points. At the end of the year, whatever these points add up to is X amount of dollars worth of equipment.
And I just wanna make it clear, because I think there's some confusion. You do not have to notify anyone that you are doing these checkpoints, correct?
That is correct, with the exception of a DWI purposed checkpoint.
Correct. And there is a benefit for these checkpoints, and it's not just the points. You
No.
are looking for people who do not have legal licenses or a license at all. You're looking at people who don't have insurance, correct?
Correct.
You're also been able to find people that have warrants out for them,
That's correct.
illegal weapons and drugs.
Yep, and we've netted every one of those.
Okay.
So, and for us, what we classify our checkpoints are our licensed checkpoints. We are checking to make sure that you are a licensed driver by the North
Right.
Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles.
Right, so it is a
Whatever we
benefit.
net out of that just happens to be part of it.
Correct, but it is a benefit for the residents.
That's correct. Well, like I said, we've had DWIs come along, you know, that's not what we're looking for, but they come through. Same thing with narcotics, you know, it
Right.
is what it is. So, like I said, we're working on that hard and heavy with local agencies in the county, trying to make sure that, because there's been several motor vehicle deaths on Moore County roads here lately, and, you know, that's a good way to try to, number one, slow people down, but number two, make sure they've got license to even drive.
Right.
Chris's car is still at McBrayer Dodge in Aberdeen. I think it's McBrayer, I can't remember, maybe just Aberdeen Dodge, I'm not sure. It started out as just a rear end issue. Now they've got that remedied. It's still having the same problems. They're now saying it looks like it's going to be a transmission issue. Fortunately for us, the car is still below the 100,000 mile powertrain warranty threshold, so we're getting that replaced under the warranty work. Don't know when we're going to get that, so you might see Chris or Derek kind of doubled up on overlapping shifts because we don't have enough cars right now. So.
Is there a possibility of getting extended warranties on those vehicles?
Typically, we don't, because about that 5-year mark when they come off the road anyway.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
And that's why, because it's almost like that's the magic number. Once you get to 100,000 miles or 5 years, they start falling apart.
Okay, all right.
Outside of that, that's really all that I have to pass on, unless there's any questions from the council.
Any questions for the chief?
No?
Thank
Well,
you.
next year you get a new vehicle anyway, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
replace that.
Yeah, so Chris's will be replaced next year, so
How many miles does it have on them?
Start down the Tahoe.
it's in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the 90s.
be
Terrible gas mileage.
So the Explorer will come offline as the part-time/spare vehicle and will be replaced with Chris's Charger.
So then do we use the Explorer for the water department then, or?
It's
Yeah.
outright ours, so you can do with it what the council wishes.
Oh, okay, so we can talk about that later?
We'll worry about that next year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I
Anything else, Don?
have. That's all I have.
Any questions of Don? Okay, next up, finance. Councilwoman Gregory,
Right,
money
that's
person.
me, yes.
Money, money, money.
Well, first, I just received the North Carolina Capital Management Trust prospectus and annual report, so I'd like to hand that off to Lisa for public records, so. Basically, we're earning pretty close to 5% on that fund right now.
Nice.
I did have a meeting with John, and he was saying that they were investing in like 30-day investments, 30-day T-bills, and now they're back to about 3-month, 90-day. Yeah, and they're managing that fund well, and it's been great for us, that's for sure. So, right now we have got balance on hand in our general fund total. We have $2,321,327. Of that, we have reserved $1,478,239. In the water fund, we have a total of $1,370,906, and reserved on that is $471,076. Now, of that money, so the total money cash we have on hand is $3,692,233. We have capital trust funds of roughly, let's see, we have $9.5 million of general fund, and $835,000 in water fund. And interest earned this month was $12,334.
Nice.
And year-to-date, we're over 24,000, and that's just for 2 months. So out of, if this continues and might even go up, we're gonna earn a minimum of probably $150,000 extra
Interest.
In
on
interest?
interest.
Nice.
Because this is our lowest cash point we're gonna probably
Correct.
be at right now, because we have no tax dollars are just
Coming in.
beginning to flow in. So, we've got, again, we're at our lowest cash point right now.
You know, tax bills went out, everybody should have gotten their tax bill.
Yes, everyone should have gotten their tax bills. If they have any questions or problems with them, they can call the city hall and talk to Sharon.
I did double check mine and it is correct.
I haven't done it
Mine
yet.
is correct.
I did meet with the auditor, our audit has started for last year, and, doesn't see any issues or anything, he's has all the information he needs to continue with his audit, so, there's nothing there.
Okay.
And I guess that's it for right now.
Any
Unless anyone
questions?
has any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Jen?
No.
I will be starting cost-benefit analysis on certain things based on our long-range
Oh,
plan.
okay.
So that's, I'm doing that now. I will begin that. Film at 11.
Yeah. Okay, up next, Streets and Parks, Councilwoman Nowman.
Okay, well, I just wanna start out, there's a few things I wanna go over here today. We have a new lending library at our public park. Mick McHugh put it up yesterday, so if you haven't had a chance to go and look at it, there's actually some books in there. He did a really nice job. It's located by the bulletin board, by the bathrooms. And we are going to have another one placed right here in front of the village hall. I'm not sure when he's gonna have it in there, but we should have it, hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have a new one placed here. So if anyone has any books that they wanna donate for the lending library, that would be wonderful, and also come and take books. So a nice shout out to Nick McHugh for putting that up for us, and he made it.
Who was the gentleman that started this initiative?
George
Wall.
Yeah.
So shout out to George.
George also,
He's
yeah.
really the guy that got all this started.
She's a teacher, remember?
What?
Yes, yes,
Librarian, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, anyhow,
yeah, so,
kudos to them
yeah.
for getting this all started.
I thought that was a great idea, so I'm glad we went through with that. As of today, the trench at the park has been filled in. The landscaper will be putting in the pine straw later this week and get that all cleaned up for us, so that got done. Just in time for the FPOA, their carnival, which will be on the 23rd of September.
Swing by there, check where the entrance going into the trails are, there's ruts pretty deep from the equipment, just
Yeah.
to let you know. It's-
Okay, well, he's gonna be there tomorrow, cause, and I'll get to that in a minute. I had the, whole park power washed, and his equipment was all over my new power washed sidewalks. So he's coming in tomorrow to fix that.
Look down at that little gully there, a lot of big ruts from the dump trucks.
Okay.
Just check it.
No, thank you. Also, what took place on Friday of last week, we had the whole park power washed, sidewalks, all of the sidewalks, the pavilions, the buildings, the fascia around the pavilions. He did a fantastic job. That was done by PCS paving. So if anybody's looking, commercial here, if anybody's
No
looking for
commercials.
power
No
washer.
You
No,
can't
he-
recommend anybody.
Yeah, but he did a nice job. I was very impressed. And he also replaced, the car cement bumper that was broken. And, so that's now been replaced also. Very happy with what they did. And we had volunteer Ron Nauman went up and, nailed and screwed all the fascia that had to be repaired, so that's all done. And as of today, the whole grass area was treated for fire ants. He came and put the granules throughout the whole park area, all the green and leading into the trails. We will be contracting with him for fall and summer. And what he indicated to me is that depending on how many fire ants, all the fire ants could be killed in 3 days or up to 3 weeks.
With the granules,
Yeah, but he treated all of it, because the spraying of the particular ant hills, that's not working.
Gasoline.
Yeah, no, because all it does is you spray the ant,
I know.
they just move. So this way, we did the whole park.
Good.
So that was done today. Onto the pool. Unfortunately, our pool day to put the furniture away was canceled due to rain, and thank you, Don and Gary, for showing up. I would like to reschedule that if we could. I don't have a calendar, let me pull my calendar up. If we can get some volunteers for possibly, where are we, right there, maybe September 23rd, that's a Saturday,
Available.
okay. Today is the 12th,
I'm gonna leave that day,
I'm not gonna be here.
get really late that day.
Yeah, September 23rd.
If everybody, 9 o'clock, and really all we have to do is just pull in some of the, all of the chairs and the umbrellas into the storage area.
Okay.
Gary volunteered to power wash the bathroom floors for us. Okay, so let's kind of tentatively set it for the 23rd at 9 o'clock, and I would really appreciate anyone who can show up and help. Should take maybe about an hour. Okay? The roads, Bobolink was completed, what's today? Tuesday? Last week? Or was it Monday?
Maybe Monday.
It was Monday. So that's done, and they finished it up, looks really good now. That's all I have for right now, unless anybody else has any questions.
We gonna have them do something else when they were here for that?
No, they did that. Are you talking,
Woodland Circle.
Woodland Circle?
Yeah. They already did that?
No, what we're gonna have to do, I got some rocks for the entrance. I got some littler ones,
Okay.
but we are gonna need to get some riprap, and I need, volunteer run our trailer is out of commission, but we're gonna try and borrow one and get some riprap, cause we're having some drainage issues over there, so we need to put some riprap rock down there.
Okay.
But yeah, the rocks are actually being a deterrent. I've had to move them back into place because people are moving them when they come in. Yeah, so as soon as Ron comes back from vacation, we'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Any other questions for Janet?
Okay,
Okay,
that's
next
all I
up.
have.
Next up, Water Department. Councilman Samuels.
So I'm gonna spend my few minutes talking about a recent situation that took place in regards to the thunderstorm that went through, and there was significant damage that occurred to our water infrastructure, specific to regulating the amount of water going into our tanks. The best we can figure, it was a power surge. Originally they thought it was a lightning strike. I don't believe so. I believe it was all related to a power surge that took place. We literally found it almost by accident. The internet company came in and needed access to the tower, and Jesse went in to take care of that, and while he was there, he did a check and come to find out that the tank was down to 90 feet. So
What should it be at?
115. So in any case, that began a process of exploring what the causes were, and there's multiples without going through all of them. But clearly there was some pretty significant damage to our boards, as well as some of our monitoring equipment. And we are moving forward with the replacement part. We are functioning at 100%. Everything is working well as it should be. The only issue that we have right now is our alerting system is down, and that is being replaced. The extent of repairs will be at least $2,000. We've reached out to our insurance company, and they are going to be sending an adjuster out as we go through the process of getting everything fixed. So,
And basically talked to him today, and he said, we just need to collect all the invoices.
and we're definitely getting those, but I just want everybody, I just want to let everybody know that we're up and running, everything is working, and we never ran out of water. There was, the system is back up and running effectively.
Good.
Not where we want it to be, but it will be eventually.
I think he was there all day yesterday working on it, wasn't he?
So yeah, he started at 3 o'clock on Sunday, finished that night after 10 p.m., started again at 7 a.m., and he's been working a lot of hours.
Well, thank him.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's it. That's all I have.
Hey, that's all I have. Any other questions?
Nope.
Talked to Jesse, I guess you did today, that maybe by the end of the week or next week, we'll find out about the toxicity report from the state.
Now you jinxed it. Every time I bring that up,
It gets pushed
it gets
around.
pushed back. So I thought, well,
Way to
you
go,
know what,
Dad.
I'm not gonna say anything about it today, because I keep telling everybody, next week. So,
Thanks,
another
Tom.
month, thanks, Tom. But yeah, that's what they're saying. And the good thing about that is that the well that was right behind us, they got theirs last week. So
Yeah, so-
they're anticipating, if everything being equal, which it never has been yet,
Yeah.
but we should get something this following week, maybe this week.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, got a couple of things. One, I sent everybody the lawyer's comments on the recombination of the property on Wedgewood with his comments. And I asked you to take a look at that and see if there's any comments or concerns about their comments.
What's different between our original agreement and this agreement?
None that I can tell.
Then why,
This is because we didn't sign any formal agreement with anybody. This is the formal agreement with their lawyer. We did an approval.
because there is something in there about an easement, the water easement, and that was not supposed to be in there. The
We,
easement for water
they're
lines,
supposed to take the water line out of there.
it's, the language is still in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Okay.
where, I know I printed it.
I talked to Lisa and I guess they haven't sent in the new plat. either.
There was a recombination map.
Yeah, there's recombination
In
map.
that
Did you get that?
email.
Is that, okay, is that what this was? That,
This is the recombination.
oh, this is it? Okay.
Right there.
Because I believe it was item, was it 3? No.
I
Yeah,
saw that. I
Was
did that, I
three.
did outline, I did highlight that.
and there shouldn't be any easement on his
On his
property
property.
for,
Because it's gonna be his water line.
correct.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I did highlight that.
yeah, and I guess, now they're talking about 40 feet of existing road. What are they in item 6? It says.
Yeah, I was confused about that.
They'll need to approve the plat, allowing E and F to be modified by the recombination.
That's that 40 feet that paved and then stops.
That's our road.
That's our property.
Village Road, yeah.
Right, but it says the easement benefiting for the purpose of the access over the 40 feet.
Yes, he has to have access to come in off that 40 feet from that one lot.
Wasn't it a public road at that point?
It is a
Well,
public
then why
road.
doesn't he need, he doesn't,
He wants to make sure he doesn't factor it in as being his private drive. And that's being a public, the way I read this, is that it's a public existing pavement, so for the purpose of access over that pavement. He's gotta be able to have access into that.
well,
which
everybody
is
has
a
access on the
no-brainer.
public, and that's why I'm confused as to why, it's
They
almost like
specify
there's
this.
something,
Yeah.
there's something, that if we agree to this, there's something else we're agreeing to, because why would we
Did you
even?
mention it?
Why do we even give them access to a public road if it's public?
If it's public, yeah. So that's a good question.
I just don't like, I don't
assume
understand
something
why
that
that
we
has
can
to
ask-
be,
We can ask Brady.
I don't understand why it has to be worded in
Why
there.
why it's specified.
Yeah, because when we originally agreed, it was just, he gets everything that's not paved,
Correct.
and we were fine
The
with
first,
that.
the first property
Is
is access off that 40 feet.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get back with Brady on that. Or I'll probably wait till Lisa gets back and then we'll
Yeah,
have a conversation.
When is she coming back?
next week,
Next week.
Next week, okay.
Monday.
Yeah. We'll go over through that. Any other questions on the combination?
No.
Okay. I want to go to the SPMO, the Sand Hills,
Mhm.
the municipal planning organization funding.
Yeah.
Everybody saw, I sent everybody an email to
Mhm.
remind everybody what we discussed. At the last meeting, you know, there was a discussion about how the voting would go at the TAC meeting, which is the controlling agency, the elected agencies. The initial thought is that everybody, each of the 8 municipalities will get 1 vote.
Right.
And then if there is a non-consensus or a non-unanimous vote, 2 members of that TAC can then request a weighted vote. And I outlined on there the Pinehurst and
Yeah.
Southern Pines get 3 votes, Aberdeen gets 2, county gets 2, and the rest of us get 1.
Right.
So we voted that we wanted to stay 1-to-1. And I still informed Scott at the DOT that was our vote. As I said in the email last night, I got contacted by the mayor of Whispering Pines. He suggested that one of the arguments that the bigger organizations had was that they pay more money into the $40,000 that the operating cost, that's our responsibility. And I laid it out 29%, and we're down to like 1% or something. So their argument, they should get more votes because they have more money. They put more money into it, they should get more votes. So what Mayor Bernhardt suggested was that we say, okay, for us to keep our 1 vote, we'll all pay the equal amount.
Mhm.
That way, 1 vote, you can't get more votes because you put more dollars in.
Right.
And that increases our cost from about $800 to about $5,000 to operate that. All the headquarters and all of the municipal stuff for that. So I told them we were having a meeting today and I would discuss it with the council and see whether we would support that. We have a meeting on Thursday at 2 o'clock. At which this will be a prime matter of discussion, I can assure you.
Get a long one.
Yeah, we'll spend a lot of time on that. So Glenn was gonna offer this up and say, what about this? And see what the response would be. But he didn't want to go out on the limb without us supporting it. He's also talked to Pine Bluff and to Taylortown.
Right.
Well, I told you what I thought,
Yeah.
I answered just to you.
Yeah.
But I don't, there's a big difference between $800 sitting on this board and $5,000 for administrative fees.
Mhm.
And then I'm thinking, what issues before the DOT that they're planning on in the next, let's say 10 years, never mind, they usually have a 20-year plan, really impact us to the point where we think us having equal votes is really going to matter. I don't know what the risk is of us sticking with the weighted votes and the $800, because I don't know what controversies are going to come up there that are gonna be that impactful to us. Most of the DOT is in their projects, and what they're looking at is the rotary, or whatever they
Yeah,
call them down here.
roundabouts,
Yeah. I don't know what they call them down here. They've got paving, they've got the widening of 15501 to 11. We're kind of not in the corridors at this point,
That's
and
correct.
they're not focusing a lot of energies on us or this area.
At this point, you're right, you're right. The only thing we're looking at would be downstream.
Right.
But how many years
And
downstream?
it could, you
Well,
know,
it could be 30, 40 years.
it could be,
gamble,
it
just
could
like
be 20
insurance.
years, it could be 30 years, I don't know.
I just, in my
But
opinion,
we voted
yeah.
1-1, now do we wanna change our vote?
Well, I don't think it's worth $5,000. I think that's a lot of money to spend on something that we probably wouldn't get any benefit out of, tell you the truth. That's just my opinion.
Well, we got three options. Go as we voted, or participate with a $5,000, or get out of the whole program.
Yeah, which I think that's a loser.
Well,
I mean,
absolutely,
I
I agree
agree,
100%.
but those are the
That's-
three
That's
options.
our three
Yeah.
options. And
I don't
agree.
think we wanna get out.
Right, I mean, let's go with the weighted vote. I mean, if the only way that let's go with the weighted vote. And,
So
and
basically-
what do we have, I don't think the risk is that great. Because the fact that even if we had a 1-to-1 vote, doesn't mean we're gonna win on an issue.
No, it's one vote, yeah, there could be
So-
8 other votes, or 7 other votes against
Right,
us.
and that are
You're
gonna,
right.
so,
right.
that's just my opinion.
That's right.
So, DOT wise, what would really affect us probably is Hoffman and Richmond, right?
Correct. Well, but as a part of the municipal planning now, it could be anything, anything that this board comes up with.
Such as,
Western Connector,
Yeah,
And that's the biggie.
comes
That's
up
the
every
big-
15 years.
yeah, that's
That'll
the
be
big,
25, 30 years down the road.
yeah, well, yeah, that,
so
If
when you,
ever.
okay, so this is new to me, explain the Western Connector.
the Western Connector was designed to avoid traffic going through the traffic circle, and to get traffic off of Route 5.
Okay,
And it was to start up here on 211, cut down through a corner of Foxfire, just a false, and then down through and down to
Roseland?
Roseland and,
oh, so that's,
Roseland and 1.
okay, so that's what you consider the Western Connector?
That is the Western Connector, it's supposed to be a bypass.
It was the
Yeah.
that was the original thought, but that was
Correct.
before homes were built there.
Exactly. So
Down
what's-
on Foxfire Road.
Correct.
County would cross Foxfire Road and keep going
Mhm.
down to
And that's,
Roseland Road.
therein lies the
Okay.
problem then, because that was the route that was selected then. But that's going on 5 years ago now. And now with all these buildings going on, that plan's probably not gonna fly. So if they're still looking at some sort of a bypass, they're gonna have to shift that somewhere. And that's the thing that I see could happen, that would not be to our advantage if suddenly everybody says, okay, let's just use Hoffman Road.
Well,
Widen Hoffman Road.
everyone would vote for that anyway. Everyone else would probably vote
Yeah.
for
Well,
that
maybe,
anyway.
maybe not.
And we just have our one vote.
Maybe, maybe not. I think some of the municipalities wouldn't necessarily vote that way. And
Why do you think that?
I just don't, I think they have an understanding of what it is. And I don't think they, my gut feeling, now, I can only talk about the people I know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because 10 years from now, all those people will be gone.
Mhm.
And I can't say what they'll be more concerned about them and helping everybody else, or whether they're concerned about the whole community. Right now, I don't think there would be support, if that came to vote today, there would be no support for that,
Would there be no support for what?
for changing the Western Connector to go down to Hoffman Road as an example, just as an example. If they decide to do that, I don't think there's any support by Pinehurst people, or anybody else that would support that.
Why?
I just don't think, they support us. I think.
Oh, you think?
Yes, I think so.
Well,
The
then,
people that I know now.
right.
Yeah.
Then in that case, I think we should just go to the one, if that's the biggest threat we see, and I don't disagree, and you think that the area communities don't see a benefit to that, then there is no benefit, then we should just stick with the weighted vote.
Well,
Then, if that's what we, I just thought about it, and I just don't think that there's enough
Okay, well, that's fine,
Yes.
and I don't have any problem, because I voted against that vote last
Yes, you
time.
did.
Mhm.
And you all voted for 1-1,
Yeah.
so,
Well, are we allowed to change our vote?
So I'd like to
Go
continue
ahead.
talking
You can
about
certainly change it. I
I'd
mean-
like to continue talking about it for a little bit.
Mhm.
So what we have here is a risk reward, right? It's a gamble.
absolutely.
It's like buying insurance. How much money do we wanna spend for insurance? Will we ever use it? Will the policy really do what we wanted it to do from the beginning, what we thought it was gonna do? Will it in fact do that? I absolutely see your point, I really do. I am concerned about losing any leverage that we might have, providing that $5,000 as, again, and I'm talking about leverage as in we have more say. Certainly, it's a lose if we go to weighted. I mean, we're out. I mean, we really don't have a say if it
Right.
goes to the weighted. Or certainly they
Very
will.
little.
Right. This $5,000 would give us more weight.
Yes, it would.
Certainly it may not be an issue, to your point. It's, like I said, it's like an insurance policy. And I too concerned about Hoffman, the connector. But your point is well taken also, that most of this stuff is forecasted out far enough. What does that mean if we're still on the board, or if we're not on the board? Like I said, it's kind of back and forth. I go back and forth on the issue, like insurance.
Now, Don, didn't you say something about if the town is totally against it, the DOT won't do it?
Generally, that's what they,
That's what's got.
that's what they do now. Yeah, that's what they do now.
Okay, all right, well, I
You know,
guess,
10 years from now, I don't know, especially if the MPO becomes the,
well, 10
the
years from now,
governing-
you're looking at, who knows what we'll have control of to begin with.
Right.
As, you know, things are going in this state,
yeah.
we won't have
Yeah,
any control.
it's purely a crapshoot if you think about it.
Well, could we, so your meeting coming up is Thursday, is to communicate that we want one vote, that's what we want.
That's what we have
That's
told
what-
them so
That's what we
far.
voted for, that's what we're presenting to them.
Correct.
If they come back and they disagree,
It will, I mean, yeah, okay, it's in that, yeah.
is it something that we wanna revisit after that point?
Or could
But I don't
we?
think, I don't know how much
Well,
time
I
we're gonna have to
think we
keep
should
going.
go prepared with an
Yeah.
option, so that you guys can say, okay, well then, we're back to, you know, weighted votes.
So,
If that's the way we go,
Okay,
or,
if
because
that's
we
what
still
we
don't
want.
know if Taylortown would buy into this,
Yeah.
or the other,
or
Pine Bluff.
yeah. And, you know, I can tell, the mayor tomorrow, I told him I'd let him know before the meeting what our feelings were, whether we support the equal pay, or not. So he doesn't go out there and hang himself out on a limb by himself and find no support, you know. I
What's
don't
he
wanna do that to-
supporting?
I don't wanna do that to him.
He wants, his council has voted for the 5,000?
Yeah, well, they voted that they wanted the one vote. So,
Okay,
yeah.
just like we did.
Yeah, just
But-
like we did.
But has he talked to his council
He has
about
not
the
talked, I don't
5,000?
believe he has talked to his council on it. I think,
Well, I'd like to know what his council's gonna
I
decide.
think that they will support, I think
They'll
they will
probably go
support
with
that.
5,000.
The five?
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
will. I think they'll support that. Remember, they're twice as big as us, at least, maybe 3 times as big, so they have more money.
They've got the airport,
Yeah.
is the airport there?
No, that's part of the county,
Isn't that Carthage?
No,
No?
that's the county.
That's the county.
I thought it was Whispering Pines, but,
Is it? Okay.
anyway,
Well, if we go weighted, basically, we have no say.
Right.
Depending on.
We have no
Well, depending on if the other
We have one
smaller
vote.
towns back us up.
We have one vote out of, would we
Well, if there's a
figure
con-
12 votes?
yeah, I didn't print the
There's,
email,
13 votes.
13, but we had one vote out of 13.
but there's
or one vote out
eight,
of
but
eight.
there's 8 small
Eight,
towns, right? Are
There are
there 8
well,
altogether?
8
There's
communities,
eight. So
including the
there's-
county.
And 4 or 5 of us get one vote.
Correct.
5 of us get one vote.
Yeah, and the rest get 3, 3, 2, 2.
I think the big
No,
part
there's
is
only
7
4 of us
votes
that
and
get
we
one
get
vote.
6.
Yes, Yeah.
So weighted, they're gonna
They
get
get, actually,
7 votes.
the three big guys
Three,
get,
3, and 2.
8 votes. If they all,
Yeah,
they get 8 votes, and we get
you get 7.
7, so.
They get 10.
Uh,
If you're looking at Pinehurst getting 3,
3, yeah.
Southern Pines 3,
3, right.
Aberdeen 2,
County
Warren County 2, that's 10.
and then there's 3.
And then there's Whispering Pines 1, Foxfire 2,
Pine
1, Pine, so there's
Sunrise,
4
yeah.
against 10.
And, yeah. So there's,
So I'll tell you what, those 10 are going to
oh, well, they
beat us
can.
every time.
Oh, absolutely.
They can
And,
do that.
and I'll tell you what, if I'm these big towns and they're looking at more traffic coming through their towns, I'm gonna go give it to Foxfire and the rest of them.
Exactly.
And I'm not, and believe me, they'll do it, because they're already complaining about the amount of traffic now, and it's only gonna get worse. So we'll never win that fight.
Well, I don't think there's any.
Well, with
there's-
With that, right,
With the way it is now.
the way it is.
And,
So
well,
you'd be
even
more
the,
inclined to give the 5? Are you
I
more-
would, to have more power in our vote against 10 versus 4, we'll never win.
oh, no. And I don't think we will anyway, but,
Well, I think.
I mean, we,
Yeah, I understand what
like I
you're
said,
saying.
it's not my opinion.
I've been playing with this in my brain for a while now, trying
Yeah,
to figure out how to.
You've got the big guys, Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Aberdeen, Moore County.
And they don't necessarily, remember, they don't necessarily think alike either.
Well,
You know, just because Pinehurst wants it, doesn't necessarily mean that Southern Pines wants it.
Okay,
So there
yeah,
could be, you know, they don't always vote as a block.
they've not been able to figure out that rotary or, 15501
yeah, you mean the
Well, that-
roundabout?
Yeah, the,
That's a great thing.
for,
Run around,
the historical,
run
the historic circle.
5?
Yeah, I'm inclined to go with the 5
Yeah, me too.
as
Okay.
Up
a,
north,
as an
that's
insurance
right.
policy. I think it's more than what we were gonna pay, but
Okay. Your thoughts now?
Well, my thoughts is not to go weighted. Probably the best option is do the $5,000
Okay.
insurance plan.
Yep,
Okay.
Because you never know what's gonna happen
Yep.
5 years down the road.
yeah.
It's very inexpensive insurance.
And that's, that is, and we don't necessarily know that when Glenn offers this up,
You probably get-
whether they'll even
well, that's right,
consider
but
it.
they don't, because basically they're kind of losing their power then.
That's-
Exactly.
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 So they may
So
not
they may
even
say
accept it.
no.
They'll just blow it out of the water.
But one of their big arguments was,
Right.
we're paying the load,
Yeah.
we get the vote.
All of a sudden.
Now, we're
not.
all gonna pay the same load.
Yeah, so we're taking that argument away from them.
Yeah, taking that argument away. So I think we've got nothing to lose by saying that, because if they do, if they accept it, I think that's a win for us. If they
Yeah.
don't accept it, we've shot our wad, we
We
did the
tried.
best we could.
But don't back out, I mean, at this point, we accept what it is, stay on the council, we're not gonna
Yes.
cut our nose off to spite our face, we
No.
stay
Oh, no,
there.
yes.
Right.
And keep our 1 vote, but,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's,
okay.
so my understanding with the council is, so I'll make sure that before I talk to the mayor, that we support that process.
who's leading this group?
I'm sorry?
Who's in charge of this group? I mean, who's in charge of the group?
Is there a chairman of
Well,
the
right now,
committee or?
NC Dot is in charge of the whole group.
Oh, okay.
So are they at every
So it's not
meeting?
one particular
What?
town?
Is NCDOT at every meeting?
Oh, yeah, they share the meetings.
So they run the meetings?
They run the meetings. Yeah. Now, what's going to happen is once all of these bylaws and so forth are set up, they're going to be a non-voting part of this.
Oh, okay.
The TAC, which is the elected officials committee, will be the ones that run it in terms of determining policy and,
Now, how long has this MPO, SMPO been in, SPMO, excuse me, been in existence? Is this brand new?
brand new,
Brand new.
brand new.
And they
That's why
have, administrative costs of roughly 50 grand or
Well,
whatever it is?
more than that, that's gonna be our portion of it. The state's gonna pick up, and the feds pick up the other part.
And what if this just continues to increase and increase?
It probably will, I would imagine.
You know,
And that's something you have to evaluate every year.
and so we can decide to not participate in.
Anytime
You
you
can
can,
go
well, you
out
can do
anytime.
that, we can pull out, and it requires a lot of pain in the butt, because if we pull out, or anybody pulls out,
Mhm,
they have to redraw the map
mhm.
Uh-huh.
and redraw all of the policies and procedures. So, for us to say we're done, okay, we walk away, but then we leave a lot of stuff in our dust.
Mhm.
So, but we can pull out anytime.
Cause I can just see these costs increasing exponentially because government-run paperwork.
It does tend to do that.
Right, and now all of a sudden it's, $20,000 a year to be part of
And
it,
Then you
You
can-
know.
I'm not gonna
Take it
argue
out.
against that, because you're probably right.
you know?
I definitely wouldn't support 20,000.
No,
Well, I think that would be a breaker for all of the smaller communities. I
yeah.
don't even think that Whispering Pines would buy into that anymore.
But we can evaluate it year over year and
You
decide.
almost have to.
So is this something you're going to discuss with the one vote towns prior to the meeting? Cause if they're
Yeah,
not all,
probably Glenn and I will talk about it before the meeting starts.
but what about the Taylortown
And
representative?
he's talked to them, and I don't know what they've told him.
Okay,
So when I call him tomorrow, I'll try to get up.
because if they're not willing to
If they're
do
not
it,
really gonna support it, then,
Then
yeah,
it becomes a moot point.
Right.
unless they drop out.
yeah.
True.
So, and I don't think, without a full commitment from all the small communities, I don't know that Glenn's gonna wanna go out there.
Because just remember too, more traffic, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, but if we did get more traffic in our area, it might be good for business, the
If we
business
had business,
community.
if we had business.
If we had business, but, there's a lot of reasons why people want traffic in their, like on Route 5.
Mm-hmm.
They can reroute traffic as much as they want, they keep building homes in that area, and those people aren't gonna go anywhere else.
Yeah.
I could say for the record, I do not want more traffic.
No, I don't either.
Well, one thing I've noticed, a lack of chicken trucks lately.
They don't go this
they-
way.
They
They
go
don't
up
go
to
this way?
Siler City, no.
Ah, okay. I was wondering what happened.
Well, we
to
got
chicken
this
trucks.
vote at one vote, now, that's gospel unless we cancel it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to Thursday's meeting with this $5,000 proposal, just vote on it? Or just a proposal on Thursday?
This would be, I would imagine this is gonna have to be a vote.
Well, then we gotta vote on it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to get
Yeah.
a consensus here.
Yeah.
Do we wanna do that? Do we wanna say that? And that's gonna be our recommendation, that we do one vote, but we'll pay the extra money.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a
think we
motion?
have to, I think we have to.
Do I have a motion to accept that?
I make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No, I'm in favor.
I
Okay.
hate to spend the money.
Okay, so
but
that,
it's really-
I'll tell Glenn tomorrow that's where we are, and we'll see if we can get together and build a little coalition to fight against the big guys.
Well, good luck with that, guys.
You never know.
I know.
Okay, the one last thing I wanna just bring up is there's been some discussion, Janet, plug your ears.
You want me to leave? I
This
can
is,
leave.
on the candidates night,
No, just plug your ears.
do we wanna do that? Do we think that benefits the village to have candidates night?
No.
Let's talk about the alternative, right? So the alternative, which we currently have already started, which is you send the questions,
Correct.
Yep,
the candidates respond.
Respond, and it's posted on the
We
website.
then make those comments public.
right.
The recommendation or the question is, do we wanna go a step beyond that and do a town hall type forum like we did last year?
That's
And
correct.
and just correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't on the council obviously, but was that driven by the number of candidates that
basically.
were on there,
Yeah,
right? There were
basically.
quite a few.
12 or
10,
something like
11
that, yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
That was driven by that, yeah, exactly.
So prior years, how had it been done?
It's never been done.
I'm not.
There's only been one or two people running, so it was never a
They didn't have
contest.
to worry about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
just wanted to get candidates, period.
I see, okay, well, salute the volunteers then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
What are your thoughts?
I made my thoughts
Yeah.
known. I don't think that we need a town hall
Okay.
forum, in my opinion. I think that the questions that were submitted
Yep.
have the answers that I think will
Okay.
help guide us
Tom?
in our
It's fine with
community.
me.
Okay, then I'll inform Lisa that we
I
will
agree,
not have
and you saw
an
mine.
official forum. But I don't know how much of a response we've gotten from the candidates yet, and since our internet's down, it doesn't matter, we can't post anything yet.
Well, I think it was a reply as soon as possible, and I
Yeah.
told Lisa she needed to put a
We need to
date.
put a hard date, and
Yes,
we'll get
so-
that posted, all right. So that'll get it out, and we'll have that information, okay. Okay, anybody have any questions of things I've covered?
Not me.
Okay, old business. Old business.
Not me.
Okay, any new business?
Not me.
Okay, public comments on the items on the agenda. I know
Yes.
Mary had,
Just real quickly, on the weighted vote thing, I'm not crazy about the $5,000, but I think for right now, it's a wise choice to pay it for a couple of reasons. First, all North Carolina's transportation studies are outdated. Those studies are 7, 8, and 9 years old. And until they update those, and until Pinehurst is almost forced to do something with the traffic circle or the rotary, those are huge issues. The other thing is that once this 211 expansion is completed, that is gonna push traffic down 211 like you have never seen.
Yep.
And we don't know, it's fine to say, I mean, I went to the meetings when they talked about the Western Connector last time, and Scott was real good about, hey, you know, we're not gonna put it down the middle in Foxfire, but, you know, things change over time. And you also have, you're gonna have a huge push into the northern part of the county with all the building in Sanford, which makes us, in some respects, a target because we have a lot of open space. You know, as everything else gets filled up, they go, well, Foxfire, that's not too bad, and, you know, it impacts fewer people negatively than some of the other places. The other thing I would just bring up is, we can get leverage. We need to talk to Moore County about getting, they're redoing the entire land use plan, and they're putting together a steering committee, and somebody like us needs to have somebody on that steering committee to protect what we have.
Absolutely.
okay, any other questions, any other comments?
Can I follow up on that?
Oh, okay,
No, really, it's to us.
okay.
So that's a great point. How do we make sure that we're included on something like that?
I'm gonna talk to Deb
Oh, you were gonna
and
talk to
just
Deb,
say,
yeah.
hey, what's the scoop here? I mean, Foxfire's got a lot of skin in the game in this county
Yes,
because
we
we
do.
don't have a lot of development.
And
And
I
I'm gonna
didn't
ask
know if it was something that we would request, or will we just wait for them to put together
Well,
the
I think
committee
if you
and will
wait
they
for them to
advertise
put a
it?
committee,
Well,
it
they're
won't be
gonna
on
do
it.
it, they're
The
gonna
county's
do
pretty
their own
tight
way.
about that stuff. So if you're okay with that, I'll get up with Deborah and say, hey, you know, we're very interested in protecting our village interest by getting on that
At
committee.
the commissioners meeting, when it was brought up, we were there, and we had indicated, yeah, the municipalities need to be involved in that.
Okay, all right, cool, thanks.
Wait, we have one more person.
We have
Just
a
another-
couple more, we have Barbara,
Barbara?
I think you should go with the 5,000, but I'm just wondering, what is that 5,000 for?
is paying operating expenses, you gotta hire staff,
Okay,
and office supplies,
is
and,
it once a year, another
Yes,
one?
once a year.
Okay, I
Year.
think it's worth every penny.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Barbara.
The only comment that,
You gotta come up.
You gotta come up.
And you gotta state your name and your address, please.
Name and address.
Warren Morgan, and the only comment I would have to the item on discussion recent is that I believe Mick McHugh, who's our former mayor, isn't he involved with the county planning?
Yes, he is.
It's on the plan.
And we may want to invite him to join one of the meetings or a work session just to get his input. You know, he's really involved in it, so.
And we talked to him on a fairly regular
Yeah,
basis.
okay, that's good. That's it.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you.
One more thing, what's on the agenda, I don't think I mentioned, but the park, the Village Green.
Yes.
Council did a wonderful job with the renovation to it.
Thank you.
We have a granddaughter, we were down there this weekend, she's very pleased with the results. So thank you.
And I just have to say, some people think the equipment is not being used, and I'm there every day, and there are people on that playground equipment every day. So I was
Okay.
I'm very glad we did what we did.
Yeah, me too. Okay, any other questions, any other comments? Okay, so I get a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Janine.
Meeting is adjourned.
Don't let them see